Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying your beautiful summer days. We survived through winter, and just appreciate this because this is what we got to think about when we're through those gloomy days. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a real estate video for you because real estate gets a little bit of a stigma right now because it's a big deal, right? People talk about it nonstop. Like, when's the market dropping? Oh, prices are dropping. Prices aren't going to drop. Maybe they're going to drop. Nobody knows. But I mean, the current situation, buying a house, it's somewhat scary, right? You don't know what the prices are going to be like. It doesn't seem like house prices are going to go up. We just don't know. But I got a little bit different of a take here about how real estate isn't like our parents' real estate. Our parents' real estate ended up being quite a traditionally successful investment. A lot of our parents, maybe if they bought a house for about 100K in a good neighborhood, they're selling for about 1.3 million now. I've seen quite a few houses just coming up on market now. They bought them early 90s, over $1 million. We're not going to get that type of return on our investment. There's just no way. Traditional investment, if you want to make a killing, stock market, obviously, I would suggest if you want to make a lot of money, go on the stock market because you can make way more money, but you could also lose a lot more. Whereas with a house, it's a little bit different than that. I mean, you can live in your investment when you're in a house, right? You're living in your house. And that's a great thing that the stock market cannot offer us. There's essentially a couple different things when I'm looking at real estate. I'm thinking about quality of life. It feels good to own a house. I mean, it's financially a burden, but you have control over everything you do in your house. You live the way you want to live, and money really can't buy that type of thing. When you're renting, you kind of are out of control, right? Somebody is controlling essentially what you do. So another thing about buying a house is the loan from the bank. I mean, people don't really think about this part of the process is you can get a loan from the bank for like 2% for like upwards of $500,000 if you got good credit, right? You can, whatever you get qualified for, they're giving it to you almost for free, right? It's the best loan you could possibly get because what are loans on credit lines? 10 to 12%, right? That's crazy. And that's not even talking about credit cards. That's like insane, right? Upwards of 20%, that's bonkers. Cars are in the same as credit cards. Bonkers loans, right? You're paying them a ton. They get you in with your little incentives, 0% financing, and then all of a sudden you're reading the fine print and it's like, holy crap, it goes up to like 20-30%, and you're like, oh my god, and people don't read that, and that's a horrible investment. Cars, just, if you're looking at horrible investments, cars, right? Horrible. But renting versus buying, right? You can rent and it's cheaper in the short term, right? It's definitely cheaper. At the house, you have a lot of things that you run into with maintenance and mortgage, etc. But essentially, I deal with landlords and they want you to be renting because you're making them money. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Short term, you save money. Long term, you're in your 40s, 50s, you don't own your place and you rented the whole time. You're kind of like, this kind of blows, I got sold into the renting thing, and then now you don't really have anything to show for it. But I mean, the only time that would pay off is if you were really smart and you use that extra money that you would have spent on a house, put it in the market, started your own business, and you're making mad bank. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way I would suggest anyways. Then renting is way better. But for the average person, like buying a house, you get the intangibles, and at the end, you get that money you put into the house, and that house is yours. So your living expenses essentially would be very low at the end, right? If you own your house outright. So yeah, that's a little bit of an insight into my opinion on buying versus renting. I mean, it's an interesting situation, but yeah, a lot of my clients want to wait until the market's at the bottom. And they say, I want to wait till it's at the bottom, then I'll buy a house and I'll make a killing, right? But you know who's also thinking that? Rich people and everybody else, right? Everybody else wants the market to be at the bottom so they can buy a house and make a killing. Like, that's what I would want to do. And then those rich people, they have more leverage than you, so they can just buy all the properties from right outside your feet and, right, make more money. The rich get richer, whereas we're stuck here. Oh, like, if there was a definite bottom of the market and we hit it, you better believe that people with mad bank from China or overseas would be loading their cash over here and buying a ton of houses. So, yeah, my opinion is definitely take the risks. Buying a house is a risk, but, there's intangibles. Its quality of life increases, and it's pretty fun to own your own place as opposed to renting. So obviously the cringy old saying is fortune favors the bold, and I would be right on board with that, because if you sit there and you never take a risk, you never make a reward. Right? If you're renting right now, what I would suggest is take that extra money from renting and put it into the market, or start a business, or buy a house. Obviously, those are your three alternatives. If you just rent and you're just barely scraping by rent and you're not doing anything with that money, that's just a horrible investment all around, and it won't pay off in the end. So yeah, that's my little rant about real estate currently, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one.